This is Good Morning Indiana, working for you.
It's Friday, May 22nd, and right now on Good Morning Indiana.
I'm excited. I think everyone is, looking forward to just being back in the gym. And
much of Indiana is now into the third stage of reopening. We're live this morning with what the new phase means for business owners.
The COVID-19 pandemic is hitting everyone hard, including people who are in the middle of building homes. I'm Kara Kenny. Will tell you what you can do if you find yourself in a similar situation.
Getting unemployment benefits is still a struggle for laid-off workers across the country.
Getting $600 a week now because they gave an extra $600, and I have not yet to receive anything.
Working for you, we're breaking down the tips you need to know to help get you your benefits.
Plus, an Indianapolis man is helping Hoosiers become entrepreneurs.
So, my passion for this project is to create an ecosystem that's both in person and virtual, where we can bring people and resources together.
This morning, why his project is more important than ever. Good morning and happy Friday. Thanks so much for joining us here on Good Morning Indiana. I'm Nicole Griffin.
And I'm Lauren Casey. Todd Clausen, social distancing and joining us from home on this Friday. And Todd, I don't really like the look of the screen behind you. It looks pretty foggy out there this morning.
Yeah, we've been watching this throughout the course of the morning hours, and if you joined us starting at 4:30, when you looked at this view, you could see the lights way off in the distance. Obviously, the cloud deck is lowering, and you notice this little bit of fog, but to the top of your screen here, you kind of notice some blue sky. So it's a thin layer of fog that has developed here this morning across the area, and the visibility isn't terrible officially at the airport reading in Indianapolis, but again, those clouds are starting to lower closer to the ground, but where visibility has been an issue this morning, Bloomington up towards Cloverdale into the Greencastle area. So just be a little bit careful if you do have to get on the roadways this morning. And all this fog is part of the warmer air that's starting to work its way into the area as these warmer temperatures come in, and where the skies have cleared a little bit down to the south. That is where we're starting to see some of this fog starting to settle up here this morning. The fog will burn off, and it does turn into a decent day. It may take a little while to get into some hazy sunshine, but eventually we will get there. Once we do get into the sunshine, can't completely rule out the chance of a spot shower this afternoon just because there's some instability around still, but that's a pretty small chance here for the day today, so I really wouldn't worry about it if you do have plans. While we're in the 70s today, the 80s return tomorrow. More on that coming up in just a little bit.
All right, Todd, thank you so much. Let's take a look right now at traffic. You can see construction lights down here on the right side of your screen. That's the eastbound lanes of I-70. This morning, they closed the eastbound lanes between Ronald Reagan Parkway over here on the west side all the way into downtown at the south split. That closure is set to last through June 28th. You can see people are having to get off there on the ramp system. The collector ramp to 465 remains open throughout the duration of this project. You could also take roads like Washington Street, US 40 in as a detour to avoid any delays. Give yourself that extra time if you're heading into downtown from the west side, though, so you can take that detour route for the first time this morning.
Lauren, the time now is 6:04. We want to get to the very latest on the coronavirus and how it's impacting Hoosiers across the state. The state health department reports 676 new COVID-19 cases since the pandemic began. Nearly 30,000 Hoosiers have tested positive for the coronavirus. Health officials confirmed 48 new deaths from the virus, and so far, more than 1,700 Hoosiers have died from COVID-19.
And today, most of Indiana is now in the third stage of the state's reopening plan. Here's what this latest phase brings. Social gatherings of up to 100 people will be allowed. Restaurant dining rooms can remain open at 50% capacity. Retail stores and malls will now be allowed to operate at 75% capacity. Gyms and fitness studios can open with restrictions. Community pools, campgrounds, and state parks may open.
And some establishment owners were so excited that they opened exactly at 12:01 this morning. That's what Barkus Fitness did in Fishers, and our Alyssa Donovan is live outside of the gym this morning. Alyssa, why did they open so early?
You know what? The owner tells me, Nicole, that since they're a 24-hour gym, they do have clients that work out at midnight sometimes or 1 a.m., those crazy early hours. So they wanted to make sure that since they plan to open the doors today, that everyone was able to work out at the time that they're used to, which is why they opened at exactly 12:01 this morning. And we've seen a few people filtering in this morning as they come in for their first workout in quite some time. Owner Amanda Barkas spent the day on Thursday preparing for the gym to reopen after its 2-month closure. Thanks to the space they have, they were able to move their workout equipment a safe distance apart so that they don't have to rope off every other machine like some gyms will have to do. The gym staff will be sanitizing areas like shower rooms and after every person and cleaning equipment throughout the day. Barkas says their decision to open right away was met with positivity from their clients.
Kind of excited. I think everyone is, looking forward to just being back in the gym and seeing their friends again, even if that means, social distancing.
The gym is running a special right now for those whose regular gyms may not be open quite yet. A 3-month membership for $150. And staff at the gym will be wearing face masks during this time. However, the owner tells me that people coming to the gym to work out are not required to. They're making that optional for now. Reporting live, Alyssa Donovan, RTV6.
Alyssa, thank you. And as a reminder this morning, Cass, Lake, Marion, and Monroe counties are not entering stage 3 of the state's reopening plan until June 1st. Officials in those counties have elected to have stricter local guidelines.
It is 6:06 this morning. Some parts of the state's original phase 3 plan will not open as planned. Movie theaters and playgrounds had been projected to open but will remain closed. Movie theaters are projected to open along with other entertainment facilities and venues during stage 4. A date when playgrounds can be open is yet to be determined. Phase 3 is tentatively scheduled to last through June 13th. Now, businesses are starting to slowly reopen amid the pandemic, but the number of people in Indiana applying for unemployment benefits last week actually rose from the previous week. The Department of Labor says more than 30,300 people in Indiana filed unemployment claims last week. The previous week, more than 29,000 people filed for unemployment. For perspective, the state says it typically handles around 2,500 first-time unemployment claims per week before the pandemic started. Since companies started cutting jobs because of COVID-19, almost 680,000 Hoosiers have applied for those benefits. A Carroll County farmer and Purdue grad is working hard to help young people from rural villages become more tech-savvy and entrepreneurial. Our Kelsey Anderson is joining us this morning with more on a free summer program. Hey, Kelsey.
Neil Milet has a passion to make sure everyone, especially children, have the opportunity to realize their full potential and explore every avenue that's open for them. That's why he started the Rural Innovative Network. It's a free summer program he's putting on virtually because of COVID-19. During the program, kids from 3rd to 12th grade will learn how to code, plus they'll get to hear from inspirational speakers every single week.
And living in a rural community, obviously, your access to people who are doing innovative things all over the world is sometimes limited to, your hometown. When people join this ecosystem, they're not just joining the summer program, but it's truly an opportunity to network and collaborate with world-class organizations.
This free program kicks off on Monday, and to sign up, all you have to do is go to ruralcoding.org. I'm Kelsey Anderson, RTV6.
Kelsey, thank you. Building a new home takes a lot of hard work and financial planning. All new at 6:30, our Kara Caddy looks at what options you have if your financial status changes during your build. Todd.
And Nicole, we are about to flip the script on this weather pattern, going from the cool temperatures to the thick of it will be like summer-like temperatures, as these temperatures to our south will start to moderate to the north and move to the north as well. We're talking 70s and 80s, and some days even close to 90 degrees by the time we get to the end of the holiday weekend. More on that coming up when Good Morning Indiana continues. The time now is 6:09.
Competitors forced your home. That's who.
It is 6:12, and here's a live look right now at Mass Ave from our photographer, Shay Goodpaster. Parts of the street, along with others here in our city, are now closed to expand outdoor dining options through at least July 4th. Meteorologist Todd Clausen will join us in just a few minutes if you do plan on using this Memorial Day weekend to eat outside.
We never thought in a million years that, first of all, that I would lose my job. And then second of all, that we would lose the deposit and the home on top of that.
A Zionsville father reached out to Call 6 Investigates after losing his job and then his dream home. The Rebound Indiana is our effort to help you and your family through the financial impact of the coronavirus pandemic.
Call 6 Investigates' Kara Kenny is talking to the building industry to find out what you can do if you find yourself in a similar situation.
Timothy Staton is a financial analyst who is used to dealing with numbers.
I'm out of $32,400 in deposit.
Timothy put down the deposit back in the fall to build his family's dream home in Zionsville with Fisher Homes.
I've been working for years to build up that money, large part of our savings.
But then in February, Timothy lost his job.
I'm not sure if it was related to COVID-19. The company said it was a restructuring.
Timothy says because of COVID-19 and the economic downturn, he was unemployed for a while. He did find a job in Georgia, but it's half the pay he was making, which means the Statons can't afford this home and they have to move out of state.
We're just really devastated that we cannot move into the home that we thought was going to be our dream home and that we thought we were going to live in for a long time.
Fisher Homes will not refund the $32,000 deposit.
We never thought in a million years that, first of all, that I would lose my job. And then second of all, that we would lose the deposit and the home on top of that.
Timothy reached out to Call 6 Investigates after seeing our Rebound virtual town hall.
We don't know where to turn. We don't know what to do.
The Builders Association of Greater Indianapolis explains there's a reason the builder keeps the deposit.
That deposit money goes towards that builder working with that customer on the selections of the colors, materials in that house. It goes towards then that builder securing the permits, paying the impact fees, and getting and all the engineering fees to get that project started.
Baggy President Steve Lane says the market is up 18% for the year, but it's not so simple for a builder to just sell a custom home.
And now they're the ones trying to sell somebody else's house as opposed to selling a house that they think is what the market wants.
Fisher Homes points out the Statons' home includes custom tile, flooring, and cabinetry. We are, of course, sympathetic to the customer's situation, which is why we have suggested a resolution of retaining only the deposit, which is well below what the customer contractually agreed to pay. We are not pursuing other obligations from the contract, like the actual loss we may suffer on the sale of the home, per diem fees for delaying the home purchase, and payment of 10% of the final sales price. Fisher Homes offered to give the Statons a credit for 6 months to use toward the purchase of another home in any of their markets, including Indy and Atlanta, Georgia. But Timothy says it would be tough to afford after losing income. Here's what you can do if you find yourself stuck with a purchase you can't afford. You can ask for the project to be delayed, and if that's not possible, request a grace period or credit. Before you build, evaluate your income, job stability, and the economy. Consumer law attorney Duran Keller says read the fine print.
I think it's very important that all consumers read their contract, that they understand exactly what it is that they're entering into before they do so, because situations can come up that we don't account for. These things are always one-sided in favor of the people that write it up, and that's never consumers.
Timothy Staton says he did read the contract.
I was in good faith going to buy the home exactly as we had contracted to do.
But feels builders should make exceptions in light of COVID-19 and the economy.
And I just think that they really ought to consider the environment we're in today.
Kara Kenny, RTV6.
Kara, thank you. Now, Fisher Homes also points out that since they've not closed as originally scheduled, they've been paying for things like property taxes, HOA fees, utilities, and lawn care. You can read their entire statement right now on the RTV6 app. The time right now is 6:17. Let's check in with Todd Clausen on today's forecast. Now it looks really foggy out there, Todd.
You know, it's getting worse here in the metro area, as we kind of expected, as this warmer air starts to work its way in, Lauren, across the area. This is the view from downtown to the north. If you joined us at 4:30, you could see off in the distance it wasn't much of an issue at all, and that fog has really started to settle in here in downtown Indianapolis. And here are the visibility numbers. And I always tell you it's 1 mile or less where you start to run into some issues. And you see we're below that threshold in Cloverdale as well as Bloomington up towards Rockville, 1.7 miles in Bedford, so that's reduced just a little bit. In and around the metro area, though, even though that visibility on the tower cam looked really, really bad, it's not quite extending all the way down to the ground yet, and that's why those numbers didn't reflect it there on the visibility map. But just know if you do have to walk out this morning and get on the roadways, that there is some visibility issues across parts of the area. 50s and 60s temperature-wise, not bad this morning to get going on there this Friday morning. And we are dry. That is the good news. And we should be dry throughout most of the day today. There's only a real small chance of maybe a quick passing shower across the area later on this afternoon as we get the temperatures up into the 70s. And as the warm front moves into central Indiana, there could be a little bit of patchy drizzle at times, but overall it's a dry day. And TrueCast kind of confirms this. As we get into the afternoon hours, you see a hit or miss shower, a little speck of green showing up on your TV there. That is just that quick passing shower. So I wouldn't bank on any rainfall today, but just know that our rain chances aren't completely zero. It's only about a 10 to 20% chance. Look at these temperatures by this afternoon and this evening, going all the way up into the mid 70s. Turns into a very mild day. And then as we go into the overnight hours, we remain in the 60s, and many of you probably will be turning your air conditioners on for the first time as we work our way into the weekend. Highs tomorrow will be in the 80s, and we will continue to warm throughout the remainder of the holiday weekend. In fact, it gets warmer as we get into Memorial Day itself. Sunday, 86. Monday, we're looking at a temperature that will be at 87 degrees, and then we stay right around 87 into next week. Not only does the temperature come up, the humidity does as well. It's going to be a real August-like feel with the heat and humidity. And with those two, there will be the chance of scattered showers and storms. I think it's just a hit or miss storm on Saturday and again on Sunday. But then as we work our way into Monday and next week, the storms become a little more numerous, especially throughout the afternoon hours and the peak heating. But no day in this entire forecast, Nicole, is going to be a complete washout.
All right, Don, thank you. Well, as the country continues to rebound, there's a shift in the types of jobs that are hiring Hoosiers and also how companies are handling the interview and vetting process. Jobs website Monster is reporting an increase in searches with the words graphic designer and UI developer. UI stands for user interface. That's someone who makes software easier to use. There's also an increase in business operations positions. Frontline healthcare workers, delivery and truck drivers are also in demand. Monster's career experts say furloughed and laid off workers should think outside of the box.
So it may not necessarily be their current position or most recent position. They're using their transferable skill sets to other similar roles, which is what we recommend.
Monster has created specific resources for job seekers. There's a new nursing job site for recent grads and in-demand positions. It includes advice to get hired in healthcare without specific certifications. Monster also partnered with CVS to post 10,000 essential job listings, and positions in long-term senior care are also highlighted. You can take advantage of the free job listings through the end of the month. And also go to hiringhoosiers.com for local job postings, links to apply, and other career resources.
Well, millions of people across the country are waiting on their unemployment benefits. New at 627, we're working for you and looking at how you can help move your benefits forward.
And coming up on GMA, another epic virtual surprise. First, they had Billy Porter shock an incredible nurse, and then the American Idol judges popped in to give their gratitude to frontline workers. This morning, it's Blackish star Anthony Anderson's turn, so who will he surprise? Make sure to stay tuned.
And did you know the total cost of diagnosed diabetes in the United States is $327 billion? RTV6 is a proud partner for this year's American Diabetes Association's Indiana Tour de Cure, and this year it's going virtual on June 6th. We encourage everyone to get active by walking, running, or cycling. The time right now is 6:21 on your Friday. You're watching Good Morning Indiana right here on RTV6. Stick around.
Street, State Road 37 in Fishers.
Welcome back. The time right now is 6:24 on our Friday. Nicole, it's time to talk about what is trending at 6. So here is a heartwarming story. A line of emergency vehicles, motorcycles, and cars formed this lengthy parade in northern Illinois to honor Charles Kelly. He's a World War II veteran who turned 103 yesterday. Kelly not only survived Pearl Harbor, but he survived the Battle of Guadalcanal and the sinking of his ship. Kelly says that he is lucky. That's awesome.
I love that.
Yeah.
Well, a Massachusetts boy had plenty of reasons to celebrate this week. Not only did Lucas turn 9 yesterday, he also celebrated the 4-year anniversary of surviving a 5-organ transplant. Lucas got a parade and presents, including a spacesuit, which was fitting when Lucas received a personal phone call from astronaut Chris Cassidy aboard the International Space Station.
Oh, he's so excited there, and he's so cute. So happy for him. Well, check this out. This is our own hometown hero who wears a marvelous mask. As you can see, this is Paul Stubblefield. He's a nurse and supervisor at Hendricks Regional Health. He works part-time in the emergency room at IU West as well. So we want to thank him and all of those providing their personal and professional best every single day. All of our hometown heroes. All right, we want to get a check of our forecast and see what's going on right now. So Todd Clausen is standing by, and it looks like we've got some fog on our cameras, Todd.
Yeah, you know, this fog is becoming more widespread across the area, Lauren. Here's a live look at one of our traffic cameras there at I-70, just east of Lake Valley Road. And you can see as the cars come towards you, it takes a little while for you to go from the headlights to actually seeing the vehicle. So you have to give yourself a little bit of extra time here this morning as you get on the roadways. The visibilities are lower as you work your way further south towards Bloomington and then to the west over towards the Cloverdale area. So just give yourself some time if you do have to get on the roadways. Eventually, we burn this fog off this morning, and by this afternoon, we are talking about some hazy sunshine breaking through the clouds. And look at the temperatures. They respond nicely to that sunshine. Highs eventually for everybody today in the low to mid 70s.
Todd, thank you. First, it was almost impossible to apply for unemployment benefits, and now many people who have applied have hit another snag. They've been denied or nothing has shown up. Working for you, John Matarese looks into why and what you can do.
If you're out of work right now, even just temporarily, you're supposed to receive unemployment benefits. But many people have yet to see a dime, either from the state or the federal government. Many of the millions laid off are still waiting for unemployment benefits to kick in.
It's just hard.
Tony White runs the Ladies and Gents Barbershop. He doesn't have enough money to make his shop coronavirus safe. Rejected for state benefits for not being an employee.
They left me pending all the way up to the end of, April, May, just to say, hey, you're denied.
He also applied for federal pandemic assistance for the self-employed, called PUA, but
they turned me down flat for that.
The big problem the first few weeks of the crisis was just getting on the state websites and trying to apply for unemployment. Now that that's been mostly resolved, the bigger issue now is applying and being told you don't qualify. The Motley Fool says reasons for rejection include you didn't earn enough in 2019 to qualify, you recently switched jobs, you quit your job voluntarily, or most of your income was cash or tips. Labor attorney Arthur Schofield says appeal a denial immediately.
If you don't file the appeal, you're not going to be able to get your benefits.
But if you're self-employed, he says go back and reapply due to new federal money now available. Tony White will reapply, but he's running out of energy.
I feel like I've applied for everything just to hear nothing or no.
If your unemployment's denied, appeal it as soon as possible. File an appeal online and mail a paper copy to the state unemployment website so you don't waste your money. I'm John Matarese. Good morning, Indiana.
This is Good Morning Indiana, working for you.
Now on Good Morning Indiana on this Friday morning, here's a look at your 6:30 news feed. Indiana now has reported nearly 30,000 cases of COVID-19 since the pandemic began. The Indiana State Department of Health confirmed 676 new cases and 48 new deaths on Thursday. The department will update those numbers at noon today.
CVS is adding 21 drive-through COVID-19 testing sites in Indiana, many of them in the Indianapolis area. The pharmacy company says the new sites will use self-swab tests CVS says the tests are only for those who meet the CDC guidelines for testing. Starting today, you can schedule an appointment for a test at the CVS website.
Purdue University is adding more coronavirus precautions as it prepares to open the West Lafayette campus this fall. Starting next Tuesday, anyone entering a Purdue campus building will be required to wear a face covering. The school says it must be worn in all hallways, public spaces, common areas, and office spaces. Signs and marked pathways will be posted around campus to promote social distancing.
Indigo has announced 4 route detours because of outdoor seating road closures in the city. Indigo says routes 11, 18, 21, and 38 will be affected by the change. Stops along those routes will have signs showing the next closest stop. Indigo says the detours are expected to last through the 4th of July weekend. We have more information on these route changes right now on our website, theindychannel.com. It is 6:30 here. We want to thank you for starting your Friday with us on Good Morning Indiana. I'm Lauren Casey.
And I'm Nicole Griffin. Meteorologist Todd Klassen joining us. And Todd, as people head out the door, it does feel nice, but we are dealing with some fog in some areas this morning.
Yeah, good morning, ladies. You're exactly right, Nicole. Temperature's not bad this morning, but visibility is becoming a bigger issue here across parts of central Indiana. We watch these visibilities drop throughout the course of the morning hours, and you can see that we're dealing with reduced visibility on some of the roadways. You see the headlights off in the distance, but then you don't see the cars until they get a little closer to the camera with the traffic coming towards you. So just give yourself some extra time. The visibilities are the lowest as you work your way to southern portions here of central Indiana. The visibility is now above 1 mile in Bloomington, so that's some improvement, but Cloverdale still at 0 mile visibility. So just give yourself some extra time. These visibilities should start to get better as the morning wears on. We're dry this morning, but I can't rule out the chance of a stray shower for you later on this afternoon as this warmer air continues to advance through the state. But look at these temperatures. By this afternoon, we're looking at highs anywhere from about 72 to 76 degrees. That's significantly warmer than yesterday. And tomorrow we take another jump forward all the way up into the 80s. More in the holiday weekend coming up in just a few minutes.
All right, Todd, thanks so much. Let's take a look right now at traffic. This is I-70 near the West Airport ramps. And you can see all the barricades set up there along the eastbound lanes of I-70 and people being diverted there off into the exit and the collector ramps. So keep this in mind. This went into effect early this morning. Crews closed the eastbound lanes of I-70 between Ronald Reagan Parkway over here to our west, all the way into downtown at the south split. That's a closure that's going to take us through June 28th. So a long-term closure for a major construction project in the eastbound side. Keep that in mind. You may want to use the ramps to get onto 465 in that area. Take that around to the south side to reroute. You can also take Washington Street as another option. We'll continue to keep you updated.
It is 6:32, and today Marion, Cass, Monroe, and Lake counties are not moving into stage 3 with the rest of the state.
And so here in Marion County, personal service businesses like salons and barbershops, they still can't open. Indoor dining is not allowed. Both are restricted until at least June 1st. But starting today, Marion County restaurants will be allowed to open their outdoor dining areas. In other counties, gyms are allowed to reopen today as long as they implement social distancing measures. And one gym owner was so excited about opening up that she did it the minute that it was allowed at exactly 12:01 a.m. So our Alyssa Donovan is live out there this morning outside of Barkus Fitness in Fishers. Alyssa, good morning.
Good morning, Lauren. So a lot of people have been coming in. We've seen just a few people trickling into the gym this morning. As you said, it opened at 12:01 this morning. And the reason they did that, the owner says, is because they do have people that work out at that hour. She says when they decided to announce that opening at the minute that they were able to open, that was met with a lot of positivity from their clients. The owner, Amanda Barkus, says it's been a challenge for their business to be closed for the past 2 months. They're excited to get people back in the gym. They've made some adjustments to keep clients safe while they work out. Staff will be disinfecting throughout the day, and shower rooms will be desanitized after every person. They're also leaving large roll-away doors open inside the gym to allow for better airflow. Barkus says they'll be moving their equipment around and floor setup to accommodate.
We're spacing everything out as much as possible so that I don't have to rope off every other piece of equipment.
Staff at the gym will be wearing face masks, but as of now, they are optional for the people coming in to work out. And since some gyms have not decided to open up just yet, Barkus is offering a temporary membership for people who maybe just want to work out somewhere briefly until their usual gym opens back up. That membership is going to be a 3-month membership for $150. Reporting live, Alyssa Donovan, RTV6.
Alyssa, thank you. A reminder, multiple streets in Marion County are being closed off to vehicle traffic so that restaurants have more space to seat customers. Work began overnight on Broad Ripple Avenue to get the road set up. That street will be blocked off from the Monon Trail to College Avenue. Downtown Mass Ave will be closed from its intersection with College to New York and Delaware Streets. Georgia Street will be blocked off from Pennsylvania to Illinois Street, and Illinois Street will be closed from Georgia to Market Street. The southern half of Monument Circle will also be closed. Officials say the street closures will provide the space needed for social distancing. The closures are expected to last until the July 4th weekend.
Well, not all businesses along those streets are excited to have those streets closing. The owners of 24 businesses along Mass Ave actually sent a letter to Mayor Joe Hogsett asking for him to put a stop to this plan. In the letter, the businesses asked for a public meeting to get feedback before changes are made. They say they're also concerned about social distancing, saying that funneling the city's population to Mass Ave is essentially creating a, quote, street fair with alcohol. Bill Pritt, owner of sushi restaurant 45 Degrees, helped organize the business owners who signed the letter. He says city leaders never asked if they wanted the streets to close.
I've managed to carve out a pretty successful carry-out and delivery business, which I'm concerned about. And right now it's working for us. I know other shops and other businesses have carved out different ways to survive right now as well. But closing off the road is kind of be like suffocating the commerce that we are able to have right now.
The mayor's office responded to a letter from business owners in a statement saying, quote, the creative approach we announced earlier this week is meant to prioritize the critical need for social distancing in our pedestrian heavy corridors, end quote. We remain committed to continuing conversations with stakeholders in all of the impacted areas in order to identify the challenges and alleviate issues.
Coming up, we worry so much about our physical health during the pandemic. We often forget about our mental health. Next on Good Morning Indiana, what local health experts recommend you do to help manage anxiety and stress.
Of our competitors, Florist Your Home. That's who.
The Rebound Indiana is our initiative at RTV6, connecting you to advice and resources you can use to cope with the impacts of the pandemic. And one of the issues facing Hoosiers is mental health.
Yeah, and so that's why Dr. Virginia Kane, who's the director of the Marion County Public Health Department, joined other health experts for a virtual town hall last night. The goal was to provide resources to women, particularly African Americans, who are facing mental health issues. Dr. Kane says Black women might feel the extra pressure or stress because of the disproportionate impact the coronavirus has had on Indiana's African American population. The panel says one of the most important things women can do is to take care of themselves first.
Self-caring is there something I want, is important for me to have. It may hurt you. That's not my intent, but I'm going to do that thing for me.
Well, the panel also discussed ways you can maintain your mental health during this time. That includes things like sticking to a routine and taking advantage of technology.
Making a schedule is really important. Everyone does better with structure, and so make a schedule, even if it includes things like watching TV or meditation, because if we just let our emotions dictate what happens, I think that we find ourselves feeling a bit unmoored.
And of course, there are a lot of apps available to us now, the app Calm, the app Headspace. Mindfulness has just gotten to be a really important part of our integration.
Well, you can find a link to the full discussion on the IndyChannel.com. He's helping people in rural areas become more tech savvy and entrepreneurial. Up next, the skills that he's teaching that are more important now than ever before. Todd.
And Lauren, as we enter the holiday weekend, you may be having people over to grill out or just to gather around. Well, you may want to cut the grass before that. Today's probably the best day going forward because as we get into the weekend, we'll bring in some storm chances and also a lot more in the way of humidity. So I would recommend getting that lawn mowed here today. As we go throughout the weekend, those rain chances will increase. As I mentioned, we'll talk all about it coming up in your Storm Team 6 forecast. The time now, 6:41. We're back in just a couple minutes.
Fresh for everyone.
Welcome back. The time right now is 6:44. Well, he may be in rural Carroll County, but this farmer knows the importance of having skills in technology.
He's a Purdue grad as well, and he is working to make sure that the next generation from rural Indiana will know how to make their way in the modern world. Our Kelsey Anderson joins us this morning with more on this free summer program. Kelsey.
When you live in a small rural community, it can be hard to get education and experiences outside the general classroom. And for Neil Milet, he wants to make sure that kids from his community get to have more opportunities than he did growing up.
And living in a rural community, obviously, your access to people who are doing innovative things all over the world is sometimes limited to, your hometown.
Neil Milet has always wanted to be an inventor, but he didn't realize his potential and the endless possibilities until he got to college.
When you live in a small town, you don't have those opportunities or those resources right at your doorstep like you do in college.
That's why he created the Rural Innovative Network.
So my passion for this project is to create an ecosystem that's both in person and virtual, where we can bring people and resources together to help folks realize their potential is truly great.
Because of COVID-19, the Rural Innovative Network is going online, and Milet is making it free to any child in Indiana.
This summer, we're starting off with 2 primary programs. The first one is the virtual coding.
Participants will learn how to code from Purdue students, and the other part of the program is a hefty inspirational speaker lineup.
We've been part of the Rural Innovation Network from the beginning, and I'd say our part mainly is to connect our local employers and students with some really great resources that you wouldn't normally find in our small rural communities.
Julia Leahy is with the Carroll County Chamber of Commerce. She says this network is a passion project for the community.
So if there's ever been a time that a kid is interested in starting their own business or they've had this great idea and didn't know what to do with it.
Milet believes where you live shouldn't determine who you become.
They shouldn't have to determine their level of opportunity based on who lives next door or is the library open today.
This free program starts on Monday, and it's targeted to kids in 3rd to 12th grade. For more information, go to ruralcoding.org. I'm Kelsey Anderson, RTV6.
Great, Kelsey, thank you so much. The time right now is 6:46. Let's take a live look outside right now. This is Mass Ave in downtown Indy. A shot here from our photographer, Shay Goodpaster, on the road. And you can see those road closed signs up there. And that's the case for this street as well as a few others around Indianapolis and also Broad Ripple Avenue off in Broad Ripple, so that pedestrians will be walking in the streets and the sidewalks can be used for more dining, for outdoor dining in Marion County. Keep that in mind as you're heading out through downtown, maybe heading to work today or over the weekend. And if you are planning to, dine outside sometime for the Memorial Day weekend, let's check in with Todd Clausen and see what we can expect today and looking forward.
Yeah, whether it's at one of those restaurants on Mass Ave or other parts of Indianapolis or some of the outlying areas where restaurants have partially opened at least, there will be some storm chances in the afternoon. So kind of keep that in mind as we go throughout the course of this holiday weekend. Here's the view, Lauren, from downtown to the north. And this has been fluctuating a little bit. The bottom of your screen, you can see the buildings a little more than you could just, say about 30 minutes ago. But we're still dealing with kind of a dreary morning. And here are those visibilities. They've come up up in some areas. Bloomington was down to 0.2 of a mile earlier this morning, now 3 miles, so it's not an issue. Cloverdale, though, up towards the Crawfordsville area, visibilities are still below a half mile or so. So just give yourself a little bit of extra time across parts of the area. Just know those visibilities will fluctuate depending on where you are. Temperatures this morning are in the 50s and the 60s across the area. And the warmer temperatures will continue to work in throughout the day today. And eventually we'll be up in the 70s. That's going to be the good news and a nice welcome change after we spent most of this week, in fact, the entire week, below normal temperature-wise with this area of low pressure that we've been talking about all week. It's finally moving off towards the east, and that's going to open the door for the warmer temperatures to start to work in. Now, as this warmer air comes in, that's one of the reasons why we're dealing with some fog in some locations this morning. We'll burn that off, and we'll get into a little bit of hazy sunshine this afternoon. Once we get into some sunshine, though, there will be the possibility of just a hit or miss isolated shower this afternoon. I don't even think they're probably going to be thunderstorms. It would just be a shower or two flaring up during the peak heating of the day. So just be aware of that is going to be a possibility going forward, but I would definitely not cancel any plans because of that shower threat today. It's only about a 10 to 20% chance. Now, going into the rest of the holiday weekend, we will start to see the potential for some more of the showers and thunderstorms to develop. We're getting into the low 70s today, but tomorrow we will make the jump up into the mid 80s, about 84 with maybe just a spot storm on Saturday. Sunday, a little better chance of some scattered storms on what would have been race day, 86 degrees. It would definitely have been a warm and humid Indy 500. Then Memorial Day itself, about 87 degrees with some more showers and storms. As you look at your 7-day planning forecast, I know the thunderstorms will jump out at you as well as the temperatures. Most of those storms during the peak heating of the day, there are a lot of dry hours mixed in as well, so be aware of that. But just know if you are planning barbecues for Memorial Day, the storms could be a little more numerous in the afternoon hours. Tuesday, Wednesday, probably the wettest stretch of weather, though, here in our 7-day planning forecast. But with the warmth will come those chance of storms, but I think that's a trade-off people will take here as we get temperatures into the 80s.
All right, Todd, thank you so much. We want to give you another look here at I-70. This is a view near Ronald Reagan Parkway 2 hour west, out near the airport. You can see traffic being diverted off the eastbound lanes there onto the ramp system, and that's because the eastbound lanes of 70 are closed. This all started early this morning between this spot all the way downtown to the south split. You can also see the fog there off in the distances. Just use caution for your commute. If this is normally part of your drive to get downtown, give yourself that extra time to take a detour route. We will continue to keep you updated on this project that's set to last through June 28th. Well, it's almost time to kick off Memorial Day weekend. Coming up on Good Morning America, we'll kick it off with an incredible concert from Katy Perry. She's singing some new music, so get ready to dance in your living room and start your Friday with a smile.
And up next, it's time for Good News Friday. We'll introduce you to a very good boy who not only got a second chance at life, he now has an essential job thanks to some special trainers here in Central Indiana. It's 6:51. We'll be right back. Working for you. The end of the work week is here, and that means it's time to send you off with some stories that will make you smile. Normally, when you get a bobblehead doll, it's a doll of a superstar athlete or maybe your favorite comic book character.
Yeah, so the National Bobblehead Hall of Fame and Museum is giving you the chance to buy a bobblehead of heroes of the COVID-19 pandemic. The museum has created an Essential Heroes series. They're bobbleheads of men and women of the 35 professions who have stood out while much of the country's been on lockdown. Right now, they're taking pre-orders for the bobbleheads for jobs like doctors, sanitation workers, grocery store employees, and even us, journalists. The museum says $5 from each sale will go to the Protect the Heroes campaign, that sends masks and other protective equipment to our frontline workers.
The Noblesville High School Band has commissioned this piece of music in honor of their 150th anniversary of Noblesville schools this year. But when the school year was cut short due to the pandemic, they never got to perform March Nobilis. publicly. So the 5 Noblesville concert bands kept rehearsing at home, and now they have released their virtual performance on YouTube. And Lauren, that is very good.
They sound great. They practiced hard, I think, during quarantine. Well, we want to share some good news with you from a local organization called Medical Mutts. This group rescues animals with potential and trains them to become service dogs for people with medical conditions like diabetes. Well, this is Sly, the German Shepherd. He was rescued after being left out in the cold, starving and frostbitten with another dog who had passed away in those conditions. Jennifer Katay, the executive director of Medical Mutts, found him at Indianapolis Animal Care and Control, and she tested him.
He was still very resilient and super loving and playful, and still loves people even after what humans did to him.
Despite all that, he's just a really good, sweet boy, really friendly, loved to learn, great in training, and we're so happy today that we are finally going to be able to place him as a service dog.
And so Sly has become a service dog for a young woman named Paige who suffers from a medical condition, and she drove all the way from Maine to Indy this week to work with Medical Mutts before taking him home. We want to wish Sly congratulations on his new leash on life. Medical Mutts is a great local organization, so love that story. All right, hoping for some more good news in the forecast. So for that, let's go over to Todd.
Yeah, you know, Lauren, it just depends if you like warm and muggy conditions. We've been so chilly so far this week, and now we're just going to transition here into more of a summer-like pattern. 80s start tomorrow. They're with us throughout the entire holiday weekend, and most of next week becomes humid as well. Just some spotty storms Saturday and Sunday. They become more numerous Memorial Day into the middle of next week.